Hi, this is Greg Standen, and thank you for tuning in to the NDIS Marketing Podcast. Did you know that you are just one of over 4,800 providers in New South Wales and over 18,449 providers Australia-wide, trying to assist 554,917 participants on the NDIS in Australia as of the 11th of January 2023? This podcast aims to uncover some of the obstacles NDIS providers and participants face when looking for carers to provide the care that participants require. We will also look at some of the ways that NDIS service providers can better market themselves to the NDIS community. Hello, Merry Christmas. Yes, it's that time of year again when we start to get into the silly season, and a lot of people at this time of year start to relax and kick back and reflect on the year that was and look forward to the year to come. And I'd encourage you to actually spend these next couple of weeks to actually concentrate on what is it that you really do, why do you do it, and who do you do it for? And that way you can actually then plan your marketing to be more successful and more tactful. And I'd just like to take the opportunity to encourage you to do that. And I'd like to thank you all for listening. This was just something that I thought that I'd start as podcast trading is a service that I do provide through our third partner, Eric K. Johnson, over in the States. And he has been a guest on our podcast. And I'd like to also take the opportunity to thank all of our guests that have been on this podcast, like Chris Schwager, who talked to us about the fundamentals of business. And I would actually like to get him back next year and talk a bit more about video, which is what Chris actually specializes in. DIY videos. So if you're looking at producing more video, and you'll always hear me say video is king, and the reason for that is because Google owns YouTube. So the more video content you put out, the more you will be seen and ranked higher on Google. And so if you want to know more about DIY video, go to ridgefilms.com.au or look up Chris Schwager on LinkedIn and reach out to Chris and his team, and they can guide you through the needs for quality video content online. We also spoke to Lee Hatcher, who was a former journalist and newsreader for Channel 7 and Sky News, and we spoke to him about the power of the voice. And Lee these days is a voiceover artist who has had his battles as well, which he's written about in his book, which I do reference in that episode if you'd like to go back and look at the previous episode that I recorded with Lee Hatcher. And that was quite an intriguing, very interesting chat that I had with Lee about his life story and about the power of the voice. And so if voiceover is something that you're not competent on video and would love someone to do some voiceover work for you, I highly recommend that you look up Lee Hatcher and listen to his episode of the NDIS Marketing Podcast. We've also spoken to Ivana about websites and the different aspects that you need to consider in websites. We've also spoken to Bonnie, and Bonnie talked about the importance of SEO and the importance of social media and the different aspects of social media and the content that you need to put out on your social media channels. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd look up Bonnie and go back and listen to her episode as well. And I covered off quite a few episodes as well on telemarketing and the different aspects that you need to look at when you're considering a telemarketing campaign. Now, it's been a very challenging, eventful year at Hassle-Free Marketing Solutions. As some of you know, I am actually an NDIS participant. I'm also an informal carer for my wife, who is a high needs participant. And the challenges that we've gone through with carers, etc., and having to take time off from doing this to actually care for my wife has been one of the biggest challenges for me of 2023. But it's all about learning time management and learning to not so much multitask, but chunk tasks into batches. And that way you become more productive. Now, in 2024, we're looking at expanding this podcast, and I'm looking for NDIS providers who are struggling with their marketing, who would love to be a guest on the NDIS Marketing Podcast. You can do that by sending me an email, greg@hasslefreemarketing.com.au, or send me a DM on LinkedIn. Just look up Greg Standen on LinkedIn, and as I said, DM me, and we can have a chat, and I'll answer any marketing questions that you have, and that'll become a regular feature of the NDIS podcast in 2024. We've also had events that we've organised. We recently had a barbecue for all our joint venture partners and providers in the industry. And next year, in January 15th to be precise, which is only a couple of weeks away, we have the NDIS Marketing Expo, and that will be held at Carnarvon Golf Club in Lidcombe. Now, I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can get tickets for that. And we'll have all our joint venture partners there actually speaking about the different types of marketing. We'll have Eric speaking about podcasts. We'll have Chris Schwager from Ridge Films speaking about the power of DIY video. We'll have Bonnie speaking about social media, and she's from Media Sociale. And we'll also have William Litchfield, who's another one of our joint venture partners, speaking about websites and all things web marketing and SEO, and how NDIS providers can benefit from that. We'll also have the team from Casio, who do billboard advertising. Now, if you're looking at getting into billboard advertising, you can do that for as little as $2 or $3 per ad. And I've actually run a couple of campaigns myself, and for as little as $500 a month, and I've reached probably 1,000 people within that month have actually seen my billboard ads, and that's advertising this podcast. Now, so that might be something that you might be interested in looking at. We'll also have a number of other great speakers at the NDIS NDIS Marketing Expo. So I encourage you, if marketing is something that you're not strong at, get your tickets to the NDIS Marketing Expo, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Now, there's been a number of other topics and changes that have occurred here at Hassle-Free Marketing Solutions over the course of 2023, and we look forward to bringing you more in 2024. If there's any way in which you specifically need help in terms of marketing in the NDIS space, you can again reach out to me, greg@hasslefreemarketing.com.au, or, as I said, look me up on LinkedIn. And we look forward to you joining us in 2024. We're taking a break now for a couple of weeks, as next week is Christmas Day, and then the following week is New Year's Day. So we'll be back on, I think it's about the 8th of January will be our next NDIS Marketing Podcast episode. Have a great Christmas and New Year, and we look forward to you joining us in 2024. I've thoroughly enjoyed helping NDIS providers identify their target market and help them implement marketing strategies that will grow their business and strengthen the NDIS community as a whole. So if you're struggling with your marketing strategy, reach out to me by email, greg@hasslefreemarketing.com.au, to book a strategy call. You'll also find more about our services, and don't forget to download our 101 Ways to Market Your Business from the bottom of the homepage. If you'd like to know more about marketing your NDIS business and services to your ideal clients, then head to www.hasslefreemarketing.com.au, where you'll find a bunch of marketing options to suit every budget. Register your email address at the bottom of the homepage to receive our list of 101 ways to market your NDIS services.